Hello, Al pals. This is Big Al. Welcome to Big Al Presents a Big Al Ramble on the Book of Boba Fett, which, of course, just finished its season. I had a chance to see all the episodes up to and including the season finale and wanted to share my thoughts on them. Before I do, though, spoilers ahead. There are going to be a lot of spoilers uh, in here, so turn back now if you don't want to know anything that happened yet. That being said, what did I think of the Book of Boba Fett? Well, haters are going to hate, but Big Al is going to celebrate because the Book of Boba Fett was fantastic and I loved it. Every episode, not just the ones with the Mandalorian and Grogu in it, as much as I did truly enjoy those episodes. But the Book of Boba Fett gave me everything I wanted in a Star Wars production. Great characters, great storyline, emotional resonance, special effects, great action, iconic imagery and music. It had everything that I wanted and more. But before I continue, I just need to go on a little side excursion here. There are a lot of people out there who are watching these shows and other shows simply to find the little details to plaster all over social media, trying to use it as an excuse to prove how terrible Star Wars is and how you're stupid for liking it and don't you know any better. I feel so sorry for those people. Now, if you genuinely watch this series hoping to like it as anybody should, I mean, don't hate watch a show to find points to hate about it, to spread that information. It's such a waste of your time and everybody else's time. I mean, if you genuinely watched it and didn't like it, that's fine. It's your life. But if you're one of those people who just has nothing better to do than to watch something you are determined to hate, that's that's no way to enjoy something. I just feel sorry for you, and I just wanted to get that out of the way before I celebrate the wonderful experience I had watching the Book of Boba Fett. This is not a critical analysis in any way. This is purely one man's love of a TV show and a universe. And, just wanted to share. Tamora Morrison returning as Boba Fett, of course, from The Mandalorian. It made sense that we were going to have to find out what happened to Boba Fett during the years between when he got knocked into a Sarlacc pit and when he met up with Din Djarin. So having the flashbacks made perfect sense. I did not mind them in the least. I thought it was perfectly reasonable how they fit into all the episodes. So we get to catch up to why Boba Fett has changed his point of view in life. And a lot of people had issues with that. I didn't. Makes perfect sense to me that he he is tired of working for idiots like Jabba the Hutt where to get him inside a Sarlacc pit. So maybe it's time for him to start calling the shots. And his time with the Tusken Raiders kind of gave him a new outlook on life, a new way of thinking, a new way of possibly implementing certain changes he might have had in mind, doing it with respect and not fear. So I was perfectly on board with how Boba Fett changed. A lot of people think that it lessened his character. I don't believe it did so at all. I am still very much a fan of Boba Fett. In fact, even more so than I was previously. So Boba Fett is fine in my book. And he's brought Fennec Shandon as a partner, played marvelously by Ming-Na Wen. And you put Ming-Na Wen in anything, and you know, I'll watch probably. Even Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. one day. Okay, Professor? One day. Not that he's watching this because he doesn't like to hear good things about Star Wars. Just so you know. Little in joke. Me and the Prof, totally cool. But she's very much a character who's kind of in the same situation that Boba Fett found himself in. Left for dead on the sands of Tatooine. Why was she there? Because she was working for an idiot. So let's go into business for herself. And she is not brought in to be a hired gun or anything like that. She is a partner, and she has a say in what Boba Fett's business or in how he runs things. She has an opinion that he will listen to. And I think that was an attractive offer that he made her. So perfectly on board with what Fennec Shan's doing. So I was perfectly happy with the direction they were taking Boba Fett. What else did the series give me that I appreciated? I appreciated the new characters that we got introduced to, the mods. And I know a lot of people had some things to say about the mods' mode of transportation. Those shiny Power Ranger colored speeder hover bikes. I thought they were pretty sweet. A little out of place, maybe, but I see weird things on the road all the time. So I I am not going to fault the design in that at all. And if that is one of the big issues you had, that's a pretty weak issue to try to prove that the show was a bad show. But along with the mods, we got to get more insight into the Tusken Raiders, their culture, their way of life. I thought that was very interesting. We get the live action debut of Cad Bane, the sci-fi incarnation of Lee Van Cleef from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. His introduction into this series was a brilliant use of cinematography, showing him coming from the desert. In fact, the episode's title, A Stranger Comes from the Desert, or something like that, was dead on. And using Corey Burton again to voice Cad Bane, I thought there was no other choice you could make. So seeing him in live action, I really think they hit it out of the park. I think they got the design right. And all those people out there that are upset and who think that Cad Bane is dead, I do not think he's dead. There was something on him ticking. So if you have something on you ticking when you've had a gaffy stick thrust into your chest, I think there's a chance that Cad Bane may yet pop up in the future. We also get Black Chrysanthemum, played by, I believe his name is Kerry Jones. And I have always been a fan of the Wookiees, and I love this character. Always fun to see a Wookiee rip the arm off of someone, in this case a Trandoshan, living up to the history that they have introduced for the Wookiees. Wookiees do not like Trandoshans, so Black Chrysanthemum definitely doesn't, and proved that at one point during the show. But yet, just another intriguing character that I really look forward to finding more about in the future. And speaking of great characters, to see the return of some of our favorites was simply magical. Luke Skywalker in his prime, running through the forest, training Grogu, with Grogu on his back, giving us flashbacks to Empire Strikes Back when he was running with Yoda on his back, and him telling Grogu about Yoda and the Force. And there's that one brilliant scene where he climbs up the bamboo and is talking about the Force and balance, and you hear that perfect John Williams music playing. Ah, it it made me choke up. It was so beautiful. And of course, where there's Grogu, you get Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, who had an entire episode all to himself to catch up to what he has been up to before he agrees to help Boba Fett, and agrees to help Boba Fett for free because of what Fett did for him during The Mandalorian. So always great to see Din Djarin. He's becoming as iconic as the big three for me in the original trilogy. When I say the big three, Luke, Leia, and Han, and Chewie, R2, and 3PO, of course, but I'm not going to sit here and count out every great character. And we get Ahsoka Tano, of course, returning, played by the lovely Rosario Dawson, who gets to interact with Luke and even mentions his father at one point. And although we don't get the conversation between the two about Anakin that a lot of people want, it was still lovely seeing them two share the screen together and having a little conversation. It was just a kind of a great full circle kind of a moment. And speaking of when they were on the planet with Luke, a lot of people have been almost gleefully trying to tell people that Grogu will one day be killed by Kylo Ren. Well, hold your horses, folks. Grogu was given a choice by Luke: return to the Mandalorian and accept the little chainmail Beskar shirt, or follow the ways of the Jedi and be bequeathed the lightsaber once wielded by Yoda. Grogu chose to follow the ways of the Mandalorian and return to Din Djarin wearing that spiffy new armor. So Grogu and the Mandalorian are flying off together again. So, as far as we know, Grogu is not a Jedi student that may one day be in harm's way, if and probably they will be keeping that sequel trilogy as part of canon, but we can always wish and just ignore it and enjoy the great adventures we're getting during this Mandalorian timeline, this 5 or so years after the fall of the Empire. Lots of great adventures to enjoy here. So I can ignore the sequel trilogies for now and not let it affect my love of this part of the Star Wars universe. But the Book of Boba Fett just gave me so much to enjoy about Star Wars. Iconic imagery like Boba Fett riding a Rancor into battle against a battle droid. And who was the trainer for that Rancor? Danny Trejo. Oh my goodness. Danny Trejo is now a part of the Star Wars universe. And it also did something that I was actually rather surprised at. It gave me a new appreciation for the prequel trilogy. The Mandalorian Din Djarin's new ship is a refurbished Naboo starfighter. And when he was putting it through its paces, he went down Beggar's Canyon through the old pod racing circuit. Kind of made me want to go back and watch Phantom Menace again. And we had some flashbacks to Jango Fett. Maybe I have to go back and check out Attack of the Clones again, kind of reintroduce myself to Jango. And then Grogu had visions of what he saw during Order 66, being protected by 3 Jedi. Made me want to go back and watch Revenge of the Sith again. So I got to give it to Book of Boba Fett for giving me new interest in the prequel trilogy. I mean, between the Book of Boba Fett and The Mandalorian, this is some of the best Star Wars we have had since the original trilogy. And it is beginning to reignite the flames of my interest in the Star Wars universe, which I really had felt waning over the last decade or so. This is reigniting that love that I had for this universe, and I am just so grateful to the 2 seasons of The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett for doing this. That is why I'm not going to say anything bad about this series, and why no one will convince me otherwise that it is anything but wonderful. So yes, Big Al loved the Book of Boba Fett. I enjoyed every minute, every flaw that it might have had is easily ignored. I enjoyed every moment of it. So, that being said, I hope you liked this little ramble about the Book of Boba Fett. If you do have any comments trying to convince me otherwise that it was anything but great, you're not. You're not going to convince me of that. I loved the show. So with that, I shall say, if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do so. Big Al presents reviews, rewatches, and rambles. More of those in the weeks and months to come. If you did like my little ramble about the Book of Boba Fett, I hope you give it a thumbs up. Share it with someone who you think might enjoy what I had to say and some of the points that I brought up. And whatever you do decide to watch, I hope you watch it with the pure intent to enjoy it. And don't let anybody try to dissuade you from watching what you want to watch. Enjoy it and be like me. Don't hate, celebrate. Take care, everyone. May the force be with you. Until next time, Big Al saying Take care. Goodbye.